Yeah, that is.
Yeah, so when they're coming north on Skyler, crossing the bridge, you want them to go east on the river and over to Indiana, or do you want to allow them to go all the way down the river and up to Hobby?
So, to get back to 4th Street, so you have the north, then back north on Harrison.
Okay, time for that, so that's what we're doing now. There is a traffic light out at the station in Harrison that's blinking, causing traffic back up.
Yeah, keep the truck traffic off the Skyler. If you need help, I think Commander's coming out there. If you need another unit, just let us know. Adam 6-3-10-4. Or just let me know what you need so we can get him some help. If you need some barricades, let me know.
Yeah.
K11, did you say the station on Skyler was blinking?
Station in Harrison.
Traffic signal down at that intersection.
Yeah, of course. Tech Services obviously knows that already.
I would think so. It's been for a couple days.
Yeah, poor thing.
Because applicable by name of DOB when you're ready.
K10, go ahead.
That's William Cummins Spelling. First name is Christopher Cummins Spelling. Middle initial C-Boy, 1104 of 88, 1104 of 88. Boy.
Adam 6, K10.
Go ahead.
K10's out of reception.
K10 and K13, advisement secure.
Adam 6 and 10, you secure, sir.
And 6, go ahead, Liz.
We need monitors. Get a replacement detector, engine 49 in service.
Before 88, 1099, Carl trespassing battery failure to zero, fine amount 15,000, 10%.
Okay, come on, we can choose yes, this is 677 South Ford. I'll get around with 1 to JTB.
X-ray 32 alarm. $20.65 road. And doors, Vector resident.
Okay, I got a copy, so. Call 57 will be out at the warehouse in the week.
Exit 48, check your status.
10-4.
46 status.
Six for K11. Got Skylar pretty much cleared up. It's not backed up anymore, but I don't know how Harrison's looking. I'll be clear good for legal out there.
Okay.
Intersection looks like it's full, there's really, there's no backup at all.
10-4. Lincoln for a middle, 32366, 32366. One two zero zero one 26 6085. Try and suggest to them that they don't take East Avenue.
This is Country Traffic.
And we're trying to get a hold of them.
Yeah, I talked to their, people, there's a semi rollover, and all their people are out there right now, so he can't really help us unless his DPW can, where do you need a barricade at?
I'm not sure that we need barricades for purposes of time. President total.
Where do you need it at, Tim? Okay.
Me too.
We always turn it with one.
Got 19172s in search and jury.
Number 21. Other than the few that are on east, there are a lot of them are going over to Washington. There's more from Jeffrey. So if they just don't end up on east, we should be okay.
10-4, you make the call where you can sit to make the best impact.
Covered.
Compliments number 5.
Hours ago, he's been in the nurse's station waiting to get looked at. Apparently he got tired waiting and called 911. He's got a neck pain and a headache.
unless we get a repeat.
Jumper.
Charges, recharges. I wouldn't notify them about the notification to be able to go to the report.
6. The estimate right now is gonna still be closed for an hour to hour and a half. And it's around the,
Simple.
Item 618. What else did you need for Jeffrey? Because they don't have any alternate route sign.
it's moving pretty good right now. I guess just, the River and Skylar is the biggest one.
But Kevin, when Cyril gets down there from DPW, just kind of show him where you need that. And then just monitor and make sure that, you know, they're abiding by it.
Ten 21 break, okay? One 26, go ahead.
396, again, broke up there.
Second.
Jason,
Aye.
versus Gray Honda Odyssey. Northbound Lane.
You got tractor backed up all the way to Shapiro, northbound on 45.
Yeah, 10-4, I think we're still loaded pretty good.
X-ray 10.
That'll be clear with service.
Greenway 48, paper.
Just for information, we're changing fire out for this now. There's airbag deployment from hitting out Tahoe.
Ambulance 195, 2000 South Skyler for a single vehicle accident airbag deployment. Ambulance 1 Engine 5, 2000 South Skyler for a single vehicle accident with airbag deployment. Come out 1051, southbound, super.
But it's flowing fast, so the Court Street light will let it.
Engine 5 is fine, 2000.
For drug has been located on the patient.
They missed out 911 from a Harley Crump at 1207 West Lotus Lane. Calling 911, trying to get a number of Food Limestone Ambulance Service for information. No problem.
Unfortunately, we can disregard, I'm aware of the address and who it is.
Okay. 135.
581 Latham Drive on Apollo.
Three ten, information. Just information, we paid that limestone ambulance to 2068 North Robin Drive for a 73-year-old diabetic female wheezing.
Yeah. What was the road located?
Just have to call upon me reference to 1016 or domestic or something going on in the county, and he said he witnessed this and they ran into a real, do the 25 down here and be with them. He parked behind my squad on 25.
Mild damage will be investigated.
Okay, match 48. 10 ain't no service.
This is for duty, so they're from out of state and all airbags are closed.
Lennington Circle, Kankakee. Robert, George, Adam, Nora. First is Shay, Mary, Ida, Sam, Henry, Adam, Edward. E. David for middle, 430 of 98, 430, 98, female.
8 South Parker Avenue, helping the resident from the house to a vehicle. Engine 4 listed says 1008 South Parker Avenue, from the house to a vehicle. Turn out 76 by that. Safer.
Take out for ambulance 1.
Yeah, so good.
Five, you can return also.
Turn out 1008 South Parker. Yeah, just back on the return.
Got 166s on scene,
Alright, Bart.
1602 as well.
Five forty-three, your return. Again, expired. And clear expired orders of protection.
10-4. I'm seeing that felony warrant out of Texas with full extradition.
Time for, I'll double check.
Is in more Buren.
Six zero three information.
Good.
This information we're gonna be paging out Mantino ambulance to Heritage Woods for a resident that fell, have hip and back pain.
Okay, thanks, you clerk.
511, Houston.
Go ahead. Five 26, so you're heading up there, correct?
Transport from the mall.
A lane just south of Economy Inn.
Hey, two papers returned.
48, okay.
That's from Surf ROS.
be paper,
48,
Meadowview Center.
to be okay?
Shannon.
You show Alex, I just want a meeting, please.
King John Brothers, 10-4 on page.
One ninety-eight Mohawk Drive, 20-year-old female complaining of back pain.
Okay, 21 people.
X-ray 32.
Free fire from Hancock.
East 1500 South Road, sounds like a possible pocket dial, no history on the number. It got disconnected, called back and got a voicemail.
From the fire, so then if you can go and come in, Josh, and go upstairs, facing us, the first door, I believe, to the left, is the one he was referring to, and just do a welfare check. May have even been the right, he was just pointing upstairs, first door. And the subject stated that it was a battery that occurred, the guy's been beating on her in the past.
Sylvia Rouse, 1008 South Hopper.
Okay, Mr.
We are not that call. Come through, 10-4. Okay, CANCOM, thank you.
What's that one?
Confirming, you said 935?
Two two three 0336, the B-boy. 223-0336, B-boy. That's Chevy Silverado.
Is there anything pending?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, pushing it out, just south of Mancino's.
That, Gold Breeze driver turn around too, he's gonna pull into the economy and if you can. Park on the side of the road. Just tell them, you know, got help coming.
Well, thank you. Turn around, I'll be back here, so.
One. Step by. Showing 19 feet from 1020 Deer Trail, sound like the subject is possibly on a lawnmower. The history on the call is just ambulance, call of suspicious activity.
One 66 in traffic.
Damage to property.
Bank account 543.
Got it.
She's gonna be transported to Riverside Hospital. She's in custody. If you can send the head office, they'll extradite for police hold hospital.
Commandant of the Border Patrol.
An hour before the meeting. From what I understand, they told the guy that was appointed by Trump, that had a position before him. They told him this morning they gave him the 3 R's to retire, relocate, or be removed. And this happened an hour before this town hall meeting. So I recorded the whole thing. It was about an hour and 15 minutes long. And I don't really want to bore you with all that. Bull. But there's a crisis going on here. You won't believe, the people basically now are just leaving their doors on these farms and stuff. They're leaving them unlocked just so that they don't have to repair the locks the next day. It is that bad. I'm staying at a hunting ranch. This is fraud news. Tell everybody who you are.
I'm a field correspondent for the Daily Caller.
Welcome to the show, sir.
And we're down here, and you've been down here a lot more than I have. So tell everybody what you've seen. This is fraud news. We got a deal.
Yeah, so one thing for me that I've been taking away is it's much worse when you see it in person. It's a real crisis. It's a humanitarian crisis. Like I just told him, I've been meeting children traveling by themselves as young as 8 years old, 6 years old. I've been meeting mothers who've been sexually assaulted and raped on their journey here. I've met migrants who have been kidnapped in stash houses. I actually was speaking to the Texas property owner in the McAllen side who said that 3 of his properties were being used by stash houses by the cartels. He had no idea until the neighbors were complaining. It's a real crisis. And the thing is Border Patrol, the resources are tied up. I mean, it took even Governor Greg Abbott to basically send the state troopers here to somewhat help. It's under Operation Lone Star. We see Ron DeSantis sending law enforcement. We got the state of Nebraska also sending law enforcement. So, the law enforcement, Border Patrol, they need any type of help they need. But it's a real crisis, and it's as of right now, it doesn't seem like it's slowing down. It's still record high numbers. I know the month of May, it's still 180 apprehensions. So I don't see it slowing down, and I think all I can do is from my side is we're just trying to provide as much video coverage to show Americans just the reality.
Yeah, we need to show everybody because the news is not going to show what's going on down there. It's going to be you guys like you and Bonafide showing us live what's going on. He showed some video yesterday, and it's just horrific what's going on down here, and it's not being covered. Our borders are wide open. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah, they're completely wide open. I mean, all these border towns, they're using up all their resources in dealing with migrants. I mean, the city of Uvalde only has a total of 5 ambulances for a population of 16,000 people, and the mayor put out last week that 3 of those 5 ambulances were being used for migrants who jumped over the wall and were being injured. So now we're seeing local resources being dried up, and it's leaving the rest of the city, just regular citizens, kind of just empty-handed out here.
Wow, that's just crazy. We need to get the military down there and get control over our border.
You can't bring the military down.
Wow. Well, I know there was some years back.
Years ago, I've already researched all that. There's a treaty signed years ago. You cannot use the military to protect your border unless shots are fired. What I'm going to do, Doug, is I'm going to get some locals here.
Okay.
Folks that stood up at the town hall meeting.
All right.
And they're going to tell you their story and how they feel about it. And what I'm doing is I'm having to go in and out of the Ramada here and grab them as I can.
Right.
Basically, they're going to tell you their story, and if you got any questions for them, this young lady here
right
stood up and asked a bunch of questions that basically, did you get any answers for them? Okay. I tell everybody what your name is, and this is Doug with Frog News Network.
Nice to meet you, Mr. Doug. Thank you for promoting and bringing awareness to our issue here. My name is...
Get somebody on the Mexico border from the other side, have them pop a couple shots, but don't hit nobody. Maybe use blanks. Yeah, use blanks. Make sure it's recorded. That way we get the military to go out there and protect them. Get somebody to shoot blanks over the border. In the military department.
543, Daniel.
Go ahead.
Get somebody to shoot blanks
1043,
across the
Texas, confirm
Mexico
that
border
orange bond to be set the next business day.
and, get the military down there.
10-4. So she has to get extradited down there, then they'll set a bond, or they'll set a bond when she gets released from the hospital at JCDC.
They may do a rush to the JCDC. It'll just take to the next business day after she's in custody.
10-4.
Cross over into Mexico. Fire blanks at USA. Get it recorded.
Edward 65, I'm seeing St. Mary's. At Riverside.
Radio check.
Loud and clear.
Justin Butchie. All this traffic control. Should have less than 8 hours at all.
And from case 21. I'll be today. The family's been relocated to Economy Inn. Maybe that helps tomorrow.
It's alive. Skechers Beach Casuals have that casual look and feel that fits your style for your lightweight leather fitted footwear. The market offer easy comfort everywhere your day takes you. Relax by just bouncing around town. Chill in comfort with Skechers.
Sydney Powell. I've got my sister here for a couple of days. This was like your biggest, you're a Lindell thing, but you said Sydney Powell. That's called a microphone.
I'm over the moon.
Okay.
I'm so excited. God bless you. You have so many people praying for you. Thank you for all your hard work.
Oh, thank you so much. We feel those prayers. The whole team does.
Sydney, get us up to date on what's happening. Particularly, I just got notified in the middle of the night. They're taking down your email account. They're trying to shut you down from communication and access to anybody about your ongoing investigation. Walk us through right now what's happened to the email. I want to make sure our audience knows, and particularly people that are part of your network, if they're not getting direct information from you, what's happening?
I'm 23.
Yes, MailChimp just deplatformed my law firm blast emails from SydneyPowell.com because apparently we were talking about defending the Republic. And they just can't stand the truth, Steve. That's all it is. They want to suppress free speech. They can't stand the truth. They are absolutely terrified of it. And all the behaviors you were talking about earlier, about all the labeling they do of us and the mocking, those are fear-based behaviors. Absolutely fear-based. They don't know what else to do. They have no substance. So they lash out with labels and try to dismiss us as, quote, conspiracy theorists or racist or mock us. And that's because they have absolutely nothing.
Cindy, I want to ask you, you became a hero to this movement early on. I mean, you were one of the posse and helped us here in 18 in the midterm elections. You were one of the surrogates. We had surrogate calls every day. You were in the middle of that, you took on General Flynn's case when it looked like, he had other lawyers and it looked like a lot of bad stuff was going to happen to him. Walk us through your journey, because you come from, you weren't doing this for a long time. You've always been a fighter for freedom, but you got involved in General Flynn's case, and then you saw what we were up against. And you really became one of the leaders of this movement and getting to the bottom of what the facts are. So walk us through your journey, how you got involved with General Flynn, and then what led you to being here today.
Well, I used to be a federal prosecutor. I was for 10 years in 3 different districts under 9 U.S. attorneys from both political parties. And I never in my entire career saw prosecutors behave the way they started behaving, at least with the Enron task force appointments, which were made by President Bush back in 2001. And there I was in private practice then, and I saw prosecutors make up crimes, absolutely make them up by piecing parts of 2 different statutes together and hide evidence that showed people were innocent. I wound up representing Arthur Anderson, which was destroyed with 85,000 jobs along with it by this corrupt group of prosecutors, only to be reversed 9-0 by the Supreme Court. And then I represented one of the Merrill Lynch executives in litigation that lasted a total of 10 years. It took me 6 years to uncover the evidence the prosecutors had hidden that showed that these men were innocent. 4 men went to prison for up to a year on an indictment that didn't even state a criminal offense. They couldn't get bail pending appeal because this corrupt group of prosecutors headed by Andrew Weissman and Leslie Caldwell and Lisa Monaco, who's now Deputy Attorney General. And of course, Weissman became Deputy Director of the FBI under Mueller and General Counsel, and then became head of Mueller's squad, his hit squad that went after General Flynn. So I wrote a book.
But hold on, hang on. I got to go back to Weissman. He's a psychopath. I got to go. He's on MSNBC all the time, pontificating. Right? He's a psychopath. Okay. Talk about Arthur Anderson. They destroyed one of the great accounting firms in this country and put tens of thousands of people out of work because he was maniacally focused on this.
People worldwide.
85,000. And later you found out later we found out it was uncalled for. Correct?
Correct. They took parts of two different statutes to make a crime that didn't exist. Congress had never enacted that statute. In fact, they did later to plug what they saw as a loophole in Arthur Anderson. But of course, then they did not apply that to Hillary Clinton, to whom it would have applied. But yes, they destroyed Anderson. They knew they were going to destroy it when they indicted the company. They sealed the indictment for a week while they worked behind the scenes to avoid upheaval in the markets, because Anderson represented 2,500 publicly traded companies. And as soon as the indictment was unsealed, of course, Anderson was history. They didn't even have to wait for the trial. But since they tried him in Houston in the wake of the Enron collapse, which affected people all across the country, and yes, it was a bad thing, but was it Anderson's crime? No, it wasn't. There was no crime there with respect to Anderson, certainly not what the government had charged. And so the company was destroyed for nothing. It took 2 years for a unanimous Supreme Court to reverse the Anderson conviction in its entirety. But
why is Weissman not been charged with it? That's what I'm saying. How can Andrew Weissman, this psychopath, go about and do all this stuff? Why has he not been charged with anything? What do we have to do to actually get criminal charges against him? Why? I know what's going to happen after. People understand when we take over 2022 and 24, new deal. No more like in 16, right? The same people around Trump that were talking about everything, they're all gone. Those are the ribbon clerks. They're gone. They all ran for the hills, okay? Going to be a new deal. So you understand, we're winning in 2022 in a massive landslide. We're going to take 50 seats, okay, taking the House of Representatives.
Demand citizens, real voting ID and real paper ballots instead of those manufactured from the machines after they've changed the vote to whatever they wanted it to be. We've got to have a real electoral system before we can elect anybody. I think we've won at least 50 seats.
We did. There's no doubt there's a legitimate. Let's go back to November 3rd. Tell us right now, our audience, where are you working? What are the verticals you're going after? When can people start to see results?
In today's uncertain times, we want you to know we're as committed as ever to servicing the automotive needs of our customers, and we promise to do so in a way that is responsible and safe for both our employees
Today,
and our community.
Riverside on Mercer to Harvest View
CDC and WHO guidelines
for residents that
sanitizing
failed
all areas
has lower
and
back pain.
staffing to promote safe distancing. But our commitment goes beyond that. We're excited to share new experiences, including online and at-home services for both sales and service, to safely and conveniently meet your automotive needs from the comfort of your home. Please stay safe and let us know how we can help. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you soon.
Majority of the U.S. companies are expanding globally to increase revenues due to a different set of legal, accounting, and administrative rules in different countries. 7 out of 10 companies say their biggest problem is managing global payroll. The CFOs have their own concerns. Only a global payroll expert can take on these challenges. With a presence in 115 countries, Blue Marble is the expert that is revolutionizing global payroll. Combining leading-edge technology with superior customer service, Blue Marble offers a single, scalable platform, enabling you to process your global payroll anytime, anywhere, and automates your international payroll payments regardless of your location. Say goodbye to spreadsheet and email payroll processing and view aggregated reports with an insight into payroll costs across countries. Invoicing and payment is simplified as well. You receive one single invoice for all your countries. All this is 100% compliant and secure. From the innovator who created one of the best and fastest growing payroll companies in the US. It's time you embrace the innovation and join in the revolution. Visit www.bluemarblepayroll.com.
Results. We're going to go to court. Just walk us through what the whole apparatus of your investigation. Where's it taking you?
Well, almost immediately after the election, I started an organization called defendingtherepublic.org. And I would encourage everyone to go to our site and look at all the information there. We're focusing not just on election issues, but also issues of individual rights that involve COVID, masks, all kinds of different things, because they all are infringing on our rights as individuals given to us by God and enshrined in our Constitution and Bill of Rights. We have enormous work to do. We were the only group that had 3 cases on the Supreme Court's docket. which of course it let lie there until they became moot. And then they declared them moot and dismissed them. But we have been working on the election law issues since the day after the election. We've uncovered all kinds of different things. We're working with Mike Lindell's team on a lot of this, and we're going to stay after it, and it's got to be changed.
Sorry, the house is not, the dad is on scene, and he's 1056.
Do you see the ground game? We can see on the full forensic audit with the physical ballots about to start, the canvas, and Attorney General Merrick Garland is getting involved here now. You're going to see it metastasize to Georgia. You already got people, lawyering up and getting criminal defense lawyers in New Hampshire, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all of it. The question I got, when Merrick Garland sent that letter out there to intimidate basically the state senate, and Wendy Rogers and others
Medals for a 73-year-old male.
In your time as a federal
I'm
prosecutor,
responsible for
that
breathing.
Merrick Garland must recuse himself from any involvement in the 3 November situation, given the fact that he's Biden's appointee as Department of Justice. Does he have any standing here, or he should be recused immediately?
I think he should be recused, yes. And I found his conduct absolutely appalling. But by the way, the Trump administration also stood down on investigating the election. I don't know what in the world happened there, but all the election fraud investigations during the Trump administration were shut down after the election.
Well, isn't that Bill Barr? I'm going to go back to Bill Barr because now he's got a $2 million. By the way, Barr's in on it when he's got a $2 million book deal from Simon & Schuster, one of these big publishers. You ain't getting a big book deal unless you're part of the problem. Trust me. They talk about Bill Barr and Trump's Justice Department and how they didn't serve the Republic.
Well, I was a big supporter of Bill Barr. I really was until September or October when it seemed like something dramatically changed with him, and I don't know what it was. But certainly the people he left in charge there not only dropped the ball, but were a huge part of the problem in failing to do anything. It's inexplicable to me. In fact, I know that serious threats were made against at least 1 or 2 people out of the Department of Justice because of their efforts to do something about the election. And they told all the U.S. attorneys to stand down.
All the U.S. attorneys stand down. You're seeing now whether it's out, and listen, we say, hey, we don't talk about things unless they're in venues that can be adjudicated. You're seeing out with the constitutional authority of the state Senate Arizona, they're doing a full forensic audit under their auspices. And the Attorney General out there has been no support of this, has told Merrick Garland back off. You're seeing now in Georgia, everybody's lawyering up as they now get to the bottom of there's no chain of custody on the mail-in ballots. We've been saying it here for months. Now that's getting it. All these are being adjudicated either in courts of law now or at state senates, which, hey, if you want to deplatform people, then you ought to deplatform the courts and you ought to deplatform the state senate. Just cut to the heart of it. I got to ask you, I know you're working with Lindell. Any of your other investigations, can people get a timeline of when you think you're coming out and laying out more of your evidence and doing more of your cases and going back to court?
We are not doing our own investigation to speak of like Lindell is, but he is sharing information, and we will be helping with litigation that needs to go on in light of the evidence that is coming to the forefront.
How can people, if MailChimp cut off your thing, give our audience, how can they get to you? We want everybody to go to defendtherepublic.org. Defendingtherepublic.org. Let's get into the live chat. I want everybody to spread it around. If they can't get your emails, how are you going to sort out that situation? You're going to have a backup plan?
Yes, we already have a backup plan, and we should be back up by tomorrow. We expect to send out another blast tomorrow. So you can sign up either at SydneyPowell.com, it's SIDNEYPOWELL.com, or at defendingtherepublic.org. And watch out for fake sites. Make sure you're on defendingtherepublic.org. We've had fake sites set up. There's no telling how much money they've stolen. We're working to fight against that as well and get them off the internet. And we are just going to keep at it from every front.
Is it CydneyPowell1word.com? The other site is CindyPowell.com. Okay.
Yes.
You're a patriot and a hero. I got to tell you, you're a fighter. And if I can say, it's my highest compliment. You, ma'am, are tough as blue leather. I gotta say, I've been in the room with Cindy Powell. There's nobody can brace somebody up like Cindy Powell. Trust me, you don't want to get on her bad side when she's got the facts and you don't. She doesn't like people talking smack. Cindy, thank you so much. Honor to have you on.
Thank you.
Cranky-pated, a bad mood related to a sluggish gut. Miralax is different. It's naturally within water in your body to unlock your gut. For your gut, and your mood will follow.
Meanwhile, the California crime wave is reaching a boiling point. Car break-ins are up, listen to this number, 750% in San Francisco. Hope you liked your Tesla. On Monday, a TV news crew in Oakland was held up by armed robbers while reporting on the city's crime spike. And in LA, luscious LA, Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva says he's taking matters into his own hands, vowing to clear the famous Venice Beach boardwalk of its homeless camps by July 4th after a recent murder there and tons of crimes. He's also calling the city's Democrat Mayor Eric Garcetti and the city supervisors, actually the LA County supervisors, quote, architects of failure. So how bad does crime and homelessness have to get in California before Democrats admit their ideas have not been doing any justice to this beautiful part of the country? Let's meet our man panel. It's Hump Night with WPA Intelligence CEO and GOP pollster Chris Wilson is back. And look at there, comedian and host of the Part of the Problem podcast. His political fortunes are growing by the day. He's an intellectual giant and we adore him. Dave Smith is back. And we've got Democrat strategist, former Biden campaign surrogate, and the most recent reader of my 2013 memoir, Kevin Walling, is here. Welcome.
So good. So good.
Yeah. Well, you're just like, oh, well, they call me the McDonald's of penmanship. So thank you all for being here. Chris, I go to California quite frequently. I'm heading back there on Friday for a nice stint in the homeland. And Los Angeles is no longer recognizable. There are tent cities everywhere. You cannot drive in any part of the city without seeing that. And Eric Garcetti is blaming it on the federal government. So what's going to happen here in this fight between the LA County Sheriff and the LA Mayor?
Well, it's interesting that these issues are being brought to light, and Democrats are having to pay attention because they're coming from Democratic mayors. But the way far-left policies are erasing 40 years of progress in American cities and turning back the clock to the crime-ridden, homeless-dominated dystopias of the 70s is astonishing. I mean, from coast to coast, we're seeing leftist mayors and councils undermine law enforcement, push policies like defund the police, and destroy the cities that they've been elected to lead. And we already see that backfire. When you look at in New York, even a majority of Democrat primary voters said they saw crime and public safety as a top issue in the mayoral election. And even in notoriously liberal Austin, they just passed a public camping ban with nearly 60% of the vote after the mayor and city council pretty much turned the city into one giant homeless camp. These policies and issues have been clear. Republicans routinely beat Democrats in the 70s, 80s, and up until the 90s when Clinton-era Democrats got smart and abandoned the socialist-tinged policies for cities. But now you have this whole new generation of Democratic socialists that are failing their cities in predictable ways, and it's going to pay off the ballot box for Republicans.
Maybe. I don't know that Republicans have the answers on homelessness either. I have to be honest with you. But Dave, are you upset?
Oh, yeah, what Kevin Faulconer did in San Diego. He did a good job solving the homeless problem there.
He made more inroads than any other mayor in California, not helping him in the governor's race. All right, so Dave, let's talk a little bit about the fight between Alex Villanueva and Eric Garcetti. Do you like a pissing match, Dave?
Oh yeah, no, what's a good old fashioned pissing match. Sure, let's have one. I think that what's very interesting about this is that as for me and you being libertarians, and we always talk about how the government gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Of course, the federal government is trying to get this $6 trillion spending bill in. California is the biggest state government in the union, and yet, as the government tries to take on more and more roles, we want to solve climate change and inequality and all of these lofty visions. It's obvious for everyone to see that the most basic functions of government can't be achieved. And everyone notices this in the country, not just libertarians, just normal people notice that we can no longer balance our budgets or win our wars or protect our borders. In California, the most you can't have piss-covered drug addicts on your streets.
Oh, you can't.
I mean, this is
and
a
they
very
do. They're
basic
all over the
function.
place. You cannot
I
swing
would-
a dead cat without hitting the
I would just say
piss-covered
that the debate about defunding the police. Look, I think this misses the mark a little bit. You can certainly say that police don't need military gear and armored vehicles and SWAT teams around every corner.
You can end
The
no-knock
problem here-
raids and qualified immunity
Yes.
and all that stuff.
None
but
of that is the reason why there's homeless people. The truth is that these liberal cities have decided that they're not going to enforce property rights, that they're going to allow people to live on public property, and they're going to allow people to shoplift and commit carjack and all of these property crimes and not enforce them. That
no,
to
they're
me
not.
is
They're
really
not
the heart of
enforcing
the
them,
problem.
and it goes to show that they think that human beings are disposable. So, what is the solution, Kevin?
Well, that's a complicated question for sure. I mean, you look at the numbers, there's 66,000 folks in Los Angeles that don't have adequate housing. And this is a problem that isn't just in the short term. This is a long-term problem that is a huge issue, not just for Democrats, but for Republicans across the board. And to your point, Kennedy, I don't think there's easy answers for this. You have some tent cities that have been set up that cost $2,500 a tent to run. That's kind of the median rental amount in the city of Los Angeles. You could pay rent for all these folks living on the streets. The Architectural Association has come up with some zoning ideas, with some public housing ideas. But clearly, this is a crisis that doesn't have easy solutions.
No, but guess
and
what? The more money you throw at it, the more people will move to Venice. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I mean,
how
I
that
would too.
happens?
It's gorgeous
They do.
out there.
Yeah.
If I was homeless, that's where I'd want to
You
be.
could have all the social services you want, 3 hops and a cot, bed bugs and knife fights, but 6 in 1.
Thank everybody for being here. Let me start out by saying what a pleasure it is to have President Trump back in the great state of Texas. He's a great friend to Texas. He's a great friend of mine. When I was governor, he was president. Anytime I called upon the president, he was there to step up and help our fellow Texans. And one of the things that he did better than anything else, and definitely better than any other president, is he stepped up and he secured our border and kept Texans and Americans safe. Well, Mr. President, things have changed so quickly and so dramatically under the Biden administration. It's been amazing and disastrous. For one, if you just look at the year-over-year numbers, look at this May versus last May. The increase of people coming across the border who've been apprehended has gone up more than 800% in just that May over May, and in April it was the exact same thing. We see something that needs to put in context, because you hear Vice President Harris talk about going down to the Northern Triangle as if solving the problem in those 3 countries is going to solve the problem with regard to the border. She is misleading America, because the fact of the matter is there are people coming into the United States across our border from more than 150 countries across the entire globe. If she solves the problem in those 3 countries, which we know she can't, that means there's still more than 147 other countries to go to solve problems there. They're missing the point. There's one place to solve all the problems on the border, and that is on the border. And that's exactly where the Biden administration needs to devote the resources to get the job done. The problems are dramatic. Let me give you just one example about what's happened after you left.
Okay, my arrow on that one. I'm taking care of these wounds.
It's probably the most deadly aspect of what is happening, and that is the importation of the deadly drug fentanyl. just 2 milligrams of fentanyl is a deadly dose.
And
And just this calendar year, the Texas Department of Public Safety has seen a 2,000% increase in the amount of fentanyl that they have apprehended, and that's not counting what Border Patrol has apprehended. Just the Texas Department of Public Safety has apprehended
okay.
to kill every man, woman, and child in the entire state of Texas. This is deadly, it's dangerous, and it's infesting regions across Texas as well as regions across the United States. So here's what Texas has done that I'm going to bring up to speed on, that we have had to do to respond to this crisis. We launched Operation Lone Star, where we deployed 1,000 Texas Department of Public Safety officers as well as Texas National Guard, and they have already arrested almost 1,800 people for criminal violations, in addition to about 40,000 apprehensions of people who have come across the border illegally, and they have busted 41 stash houses. In addition to that, things got so bad that county judges, the lead officials in the border region counties, for the first time ever, they asked me to declare disaster. You remember I declared disaster for Hurricane Harvey and other things like that? This is the first time ever I'm aware of that a governor had to make a disaster declaration for the border situation, and yet that's exactly what we did. And then the state of Texas, with the help of Lieutenant Governor Patrick, we passed in our state budget that I just signed more than $1 billion of funding for Texas to have to step up and secure our border. And then after that, they added an additional $250 million for Texas to begin building our own border wall to keep Texas safe. And then on top of that, we have a new program because we are seeing people coming across the border who
902 North, 7,000 West, garage entry.
Arrested people, and we through the Texas Department of Public Safety are working collaboratively with sheriffs.
You know, I heard your mother
Arrest program.
for service.
We're going to be involved in catch and release. If you're coming to the state of Texas, you will have Texas law enforcement arresting and putting you behind bars. This isn't going to be the red carpet treatment that the Biden administration has rolled out. This is going to be time in jail that our law enforcement officials will have to achieve. Two other things I want to mention. One is that Governor Ducey and I, we triggered an interstate compact where other states can join in and assist us in helping to secure our border. And I know I don't have all the states, but I do want to mention the ones that I do have that are stepping up to help out by sending resources. It could be law enforcement officials or it could be National Guard. We have Florida, Nebraska, South Dakota, Iowa, Ohio, Arkansas, Georgia, and New York. Just know that the people of Texas, the people of America.
Okay, right.
DMV, right?
Pick up X-ray 10.
X-ray 10.
Sal Larma, I've contacted the owner, everything's 10-4 operator there.
Can't up 10-4, 48 to 10-4. Superior 481, received.
Yes.
Sandoval. Illinois contact 490 Adam 048 490 Adam 048 Illinois contact. But maybe one semi in the last minute. Thank you for the rush to get here. They were checking equal price. I'll be back in Thursday.
mean, I just quit. Yeah. Yeah, I'll report to everybody. You, I'll report to her. Yeah, bye.